Guess who's back? So, it's been about 3 years since I last uploaded a video. A lot has happened since then, and that's the main reason why this thing has sat for 3 years, and literally sat in the field for 3 years. So, yeah, surprisingly, it's held up pretty well, actually. A lot of the old patches that I made in terrible conditions have held up. Some minor surface rust and things like that I need to address, but other than that, it looks pretty good. It's just a matter of patching in the rest of the holes that I cut out of it and getting it all covered up in filler and primer and ready for painting. So you know, just a little bit more fab work to do. You have to fabricate the rear end of it and things like that, but it looks pretty good. So please continue to subscribe to me. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet, and we will finish this up. I have about 3 weeks to do it. I promise you I will get it done this time, and we will work very hard to finally complete the zombie hunter build. Alright, so I finished this patch right here. I cut it out, welded in all the little tack welds on there, and then I covered it with Eastwood fast etch, and you can see it's like covered in a zinc phosphate coating, so theoretically that thing will be good for a year. I don't have to paint it, I don't have to cover it with anything, and it won't rust, in theory. I'm not going to go that long. What I'd like to do is cover it with fiberglass as quickly as possible. However, I'm not going to do that today. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to plug up the rest of these holes, right? So like that, create a patch there, and create this. So you can see this is the like the wheel well inner fender, and then this is the outer skin of the truck. So they're two separate pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another strip here and weld it together and combine the two. You know, I kept this piece because it's good structural support to weld to and to kind of just have an idea of where the shape is. However, I don't plan on bending metal. You know, originally I was considering just bending the metal and shaping it, you know, in the same fashion. I might still do that. It seems like it'd be a lot of work. So what I think I'm going to do instead is just create like a flat sheet like that, maybe come out on an angle, and then fill it in with long strand fiberglass and then sculpt it that way. Alright, so now I have one hole to address here, and again what I'm going to do is I'm going to create patch panels. I'm going to patch that up with steel. First thing is I'm going to prep the area with a grinder, grind off all the rusty area and the paint and things like that. And then I'm going to create that patch panel, weld that into place. If you look on the opposite side of this rocker panel, the hole goes all the way through. Okay, so you can see all the way through it. So on that side, it's just going to be probably the same thing. I'll clean the area up and try to hit it from the back and weld it in through the other opposite side. So then after that, it's just filling it in with the fiberglass, any little pits and things like that. So the outside is done. It's just a matter of putting in that patch panel, and here's what it looks like on the inside. So now here I'm going to have to clean up all these edges, you know, and create a nice rectangle shape, nice and clean, and then from there it's just a matter of putting in the another patch panel on this side, and then it'll all be sealed up. So here's the panel I'm going to put in place, but I want to ensure that it fits properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark off or trace the opening from the inside. And that way I know it's an exact fit, and then I can just weld it in place. Alright, so this took a heck of a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. but this section is done. So it was a series of patch panels, kind of jigsaw puzzled together, just because I don't have the right stuff to, like, I don't have a form to actually, or a stamp how they actually do it in the factory, right? So because of that, I had to jigsaw it together with a bunch of little patch panels, and I also don't have a bender here, right? So all in all, pretty good. Keep in mind, this is just the metal work, right? So this is all going to be ground down, and then I'm going to put the fiberglass over that, right? So the long strand fiberglass, and that'll help me. Like this part, I couldn't do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this little lip out of fiberglass. Not that it matters, because I'm going to have a tube fender flare on there anyway that I'm going to make, and that'll actually cover this whole section. But you know, for the sake of trying to make it as close to original as possible, I'm gonna do that, just so it kind of looks put together, you know. And then inside, it's all sealed off now. You know, I sealed this whole section off and created this whole part. So now that's all done. It's just a matter of glass work and then sanding that down and then primering. That's done. So tomorrow when I get here, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to sand this all down, grind it all down, and then apply the fiberglass, and then do the body work on this section. Hopefully get this whole side done tomorrow. So I'll have quite a few hours. I'm gonna try to get here a lot earlier than I did today. I was still doing a lot of running around and buying materials and things. But yeah, so fiberglass, body filler, primer, and that whole driver's side is done. And then it's a matter of getting to the corners. But I'm exhausted now, and I will see you all tomorrow.